Lieutenant Kyle Evans is a member of the Villanova senior class of 2016. In his senior year, Mr. Evans' peers elected him to the position of Arts Captain. On the night of his graduation, he was awarded the Father Michael Morahan Silver Medallion for outstanding leadership. On leaving school, Mr. Evans was accepted into the Army and began training at the Australian Defence Force Academy in Canberra. It is my pleasure now to invite Lieutenant Evans to address us.
Good morning, teachers, staff, parents, and Villanova men. It's an honour to be asked to provide the ANZAC service address here at Villa, to somewhat give back to the community, which has given so much to me over the past few years. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak to commemorate ANZAC Day, a day most Australians recognise as the most important of our country's short history. When I was asked to speak today, I found myself reflecting on my career so far, how I got here, and where it all started. I remember being in your seats only a few years ago, nervous for my assignments, nervous for my exams, nervous for what was ahead after school, but ever so glad to be wearing the gold and green side by side with my mates. I remember Red Gum's song, I Was Only 19, played on our ANZAC Day service. If you haven't heard it, I urge you all to listen. It sent chills down my spine, thinking of the horrors that these young men and women had to face day in, day out. Yet they persevered in the harshest of conditions. They continued to strive for excellence and to get the job done. It was a short moment in time, but it would forever change my outlook on the realities of war and life in general. To never give up and to always do my best, regardless of what lay ahead. An outlook Villa helped forge. So where does this attitude come from? It's derived from the legend of the Anzacs, the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, who, in 1915, landed on the beaches of Gallipoli in Turkey in a British and French-led amphibious assault. It was the first act to seize Constantinople. In an attempt to destroy Turkish gun positions, they were outgunned and outmanned. It was their determination and fighting spirit in the face of adversity which cemented the word ANZAC. Over 2,000 Australian soldiers were killed that day, with approximately 8,700 dying prior to their withdrawal in December that year. Their actions forged what has become the ANZAC spirit, and that spirit has been the driving force behind all Australian servicemen and women ever since. In France, later in World War II, Korea, Malaysia, Borneo, Vietnam, East Timor, Iraq, and Afghanistan. It's also present in our humanitarian aid and disaster relief taskings, our everyday training and field exercises, and in our peacekeeping operations that our service people undertake day to day. For recent context, think of our floods, our bushfires, COVID assist, our support to Fiji and to Tonga, or our current UN peacekeepers in Cyprus and South Sudan. The spirit typifies the notions of mateship, having a sense of humour, courage, integrity, selflessness, leadership, and initiative, just to name a few. But the ANZAC spirit is not only found in those who have served and are serving, it is found in their families and friends, in their mates. In fact, every single one of you in this hall. The traits exemplified by our brave men and women over 100 years ago can be seen in all of you sitting here today. I argue that these traits are nurtured and harnessed throughout your time here at Villa. Be that when you're out on the footy field smashing lorries, or when your mate forgets their lines in the Year 12 production and you go over and whisper to them, or when you're studying for your exams and in the classroom. Every day, Villanovans and their families portray these traits. So when I delve into it, I acknowledge a key quality that links Villa directly to the ANZAC spirit. This, I argue, is the sense of community. I name this as I see it as a unifying bond of all qualities portrayed in the ANZAC legend and what they enabled to build our physical community as we see it. It is the culture developed which prioritises this outward-looking and acting not for oneself, but for others, in the service of others. Fighting for truth and liberty and standing up for what's right. Now, when I came through Villa, my brother and I found ourselves in a very difficult position. We were on the brink of homelessness as I head into my senior year. Without anyone to turn to, it was Villanova College who was here for us. The community, in all senses, were here for us. The community was there to help overcome these difficult and continued. The community was there to help overcome these difficulties, and continued to provide someone to turn to be guided and develop within. The community encouraged the endless pursuit of knowledge, taking accountability for our actions and leading by example. These are characteristics of the soldiers and officers in our current Defence Force, the ANZAC spirit. So to conclude, ANZAC Day, as we know, is not a glorification of war. It is the recognition of the sacrifices that brave Australians made. In the words of Paul Keating, the ANZAC legend is a legend not of sweeping military victories, so much as triumphs against the odds, of courage and ingenuity in adversity. It is a legend of free and independent spirits whose discipline derived less from military formalities and customs than from the bonds of mateship and the demands of necessity. The ANZAC legend transcends time and is embodied by us all in our small everyday actions of doing the hard right over the easy wrong. I look forward to marching with you all on Monday morning. Thank you.